So I'll first tell you what did we discuss yesterday. We have already discussed that if x plus y to the whole power n, to expand this, we need nc0 x to the power n, nc1 x to the power n minus 1, y to the power 1, and subsequently the power of x will decrease and the power of y will increase, reaching up to ncn y to the power n. And if I write x minus y to the whole power n, so it will be nc0 x to the power n, alternate positive negative. Alternate positive negative. Right? Oh, just a minute, please. Okay, so we have already talked about these two formulae. Now, I want you to show some other things as well. Let's say we add them. If we are adding them, then these terms will get cancelled out and these terms will be added twice because the terms are basically same. It's just whether it's positive or negative, right? So if you are adding them, the opposite sign wale terms will get cancelled out. So it will become twice of nc0 x to the power n plus nc2 x to the power n minus 2 y square because they will get cancelled out. So similarly, the next term will be nc4 and so on. And if we subtract them, then the terms with same sign will get cancelled out. And we are left with nc1 x to the power n minus 1 into y plus nc3 x to the power n minus 3 y cube plus nc5 x to the power n minus 5 y to the power 5. So we can also add or subtract these two expressions. Now let's do one more thing. Okay. So this will be a question for all of you, right? I'm just substituting x as x. I'm just substituting y as 1. In this case, I'm substituting y as 1 in the first formula. If I substitute y as 1, so what will it become? Left hand side will be x plus 1 to the whole power n. And in right side, wherever y is, I will put 1. So 1 to the power anything is 1, right? So it will be something like this. This is also an important formula, by the way. Now, y to the power 1 is basically 1 to the power 1, which is 1 only. So we don't need to write it. 1 square will be 1 only. We don't need to write it. So it will just simply be something like this. Now, again, in this formula, I'm substituting x as 1 and y as x. So in place of x, I will substitute 1. In place of y, I will substitute x. So this becomes 1 plus x to the whole power n. Right? Now, in place of x, I will substitute 1. So 1 to the power n is 1. This is just simple NC0 plus 1 to the power n minus 1. No, check it out. Check the expression in the top. I'll put x as 1. So 1 to the power n minus 1 will be 1 only. And in place of y, I will put x. So this will become x to the power 1. In the next part again, 1 to the power n minus 2 will be 1. So wherever x is, just remove the x. And wherever y is, just put x in place of y. So this will become nc2x square. Then the next term will be nc3x cube. And the last term will be ncn x to the power n. Now, if I substitute y as 1 in this case, I can put minus x as well here or here, minus. So we will get more formally. I'm not interested in that actually. Please feel free to ask if you're facing any problem. Till now, I'll tell you again what we have done is we have written these two formulae which we have learned over the period of last class, right? Then we added these and subtracted these. If we add them, we will get this simple addition. If we subtract them, then we will get this. There will be terms cancelling out each other if we add them or if we subtract them, right? So these two are also sometimes used. There will be some questions in exercise 1 which will be solved, which can be solved, quickly using this result. Right? They can be solved generally as well if you expand them as well. But if you use this, they can be solved quicker. Right? Now, what I have done is in the first formula, I have designed two more. I have created two more formulae using the first formula. Right? First, I have substituted y with 1. So this formula becomes x plus 1 to the whole power n, and the formula becomes like this. Then in the second part, I have substituted x as 1 and y as x. So wherever x is, it will vanish. And wherever y is, we will put simple x in place of y. So this formula becomes something like this: nc0 plus nc1x plus nc2x square, something along this. Now, if I observe, the left-hand side of both of these things are same. If you write x plus 1 to the whole power n or 1 plus x to the whole power n, it doesn't make any difference. They both are same only. But if I observe right-hand side, this doesn't look same to me. How can this happen, man? The left-hand side of both the parts are same, but right-hand side is not same. So what I want to ask you guys is, what happened here? What's the problem? Are both of these right-hand sides same or not? If they are same, then they don't look same to me, at least for now. So can you help me understand the question? If you're facing any doubt, please feel free to ask and solve this for me. Why do we see two different RHS for the same LHS?
Sir, x plus 1 raised to n
Yes.
is just reverse of 1 plus x raised to n. LHS also.
No, LHS is reverse, but see, what I'm saying is, Mas, if you write 1 plus 2 whole power 6 or 2 plus 1 whole power 6, these are same, na? No?
Yes.
This is also 3 to the power 6, this is also 3 to the power 6.
Yes.
But in the right-hand side, this is not same, because with NC0, here we got x to the power n, and with NC0, here we got 1. With NC1, the first part contains x to the power n minus 1. With NC1, the second part contains x. So what's the logic? What's the trick here? Are they even different? They look different,
They're
but
not
are they
different,
different? Why?
sir, because the last term of the right hand side is the first term of 1 plus x raised to n.
Correct. And how can you prove that? The last term is NCN here. And the first term is NC0 here. Are they same?
Yes.
How? Which
Uh,
property? By using which property you can say this?
because NCN is x raised to 0, which is 1, and NC0 is also 1.
Yeah, correct. So just simply use this property. NCR is equals to NCN minus R. So if you write NCN, it can also be written as NC0 using the same property. So if you talk about NC1, NC1 can also be written as NCN minus 1. So basically, these two expressions are same only. With NC0, you got x to the power n. Here, with NCN, you got x to the power n. They both are same. The coefficients are same. With NC1, you got x to the power n minus 1 here. But if you write the second last term of this series, you will get the same thing. NCN minus 1 into x to the power n minus 1. NC1 and NCN minus 1 are same. So these two are same expressions, first of all. Nobody is going to ask you this question. I just wanted whether you remember the formula for PNC or not. Because we will use, we can use this NCR a lot of times in binomial theorem. So that was just, we deceive you like this, because the NCR is equals to NCN minus R. So don't get deceived. They both are same. The right hand side is also same. This doesn't look same, but they actually are. Okay, can I remove this? Yeah. If anyone hasn't written, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I'm going to remove this. Cool. So these things can be done. So you also remember this formula. 1 plus x to the whole power n. If x is written this side, so the power of x will be increasing. If x is written this side, the power of x will be decreasing. But both are same expressions. If we write 1 minus x to the power n, we will get NC0 minus NC1x, alternate or positive negative. Okay. Now I want to discuss the last concept with you. We have already discussed the general term and all those things. So I'm going to write the basic expression, which is the most important expression in this case. X plus y to the whole power n. This can be written as NCR x to the power n minus r y to the power r sigma over r is from 0 to n. And we also know its general term. This is nothing but the term written inside the sigma. Now let's say I want to actually first expand these 3 expressions. They'll be helpful. So this can be written as x cube plus 3x square y plus 3xy square plus y cube. Now if I talk about this, so this will be x to the power 4 plus 4x cube y plus 6x square y square plus 4xy cube plus y to the power 4, right? Now, when n was 3, there were 4 terms. We have already reduced this in the last class, that whatever the power is, the terms will always be 1 more than that. So if the power is 3, the terms will be 4. If the power is 10, the terms will be 11. If the power is 12, the terms will be 13. If the power is 19, the terms will be 20. Right? Now, there is also a concept of middle term. So we will be actually discussing the last concept, this middle term. So if I expand an expansion, then sometimes we need to find out the middle term of that expansion. So let's take out first this case. The power was 4. So the total number of terms was 5. Can you spot the middle term in this? What should be the middle term of this expression? Middle term, mane ekdam beach ka term. What is in between? The most, which has the same distance from the beginning and also from the end. Middlemost term. Fahad, tell me, what's the middle term in this case, second part? Okay. Maz, Iram, what's the middle term in this case?
6x square y square.
Correct. 6x square y square, because it has the same distance from this. There are 2 terms behind this and there are 2 terms after this. So it's the middle term, right? Everyone do get this, right? That this is the middle term. Okay, if I write x plus y to the power 7, sorry, x plus y to the power 6, how many terms will this expansion contain?
7.
7 terms, right? Now, if I have 7 terms, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What will be the middle term in this case?
4.
Fourth, right? 4th term will be the middle term. Now, what I'm saying is, listen to me very carefully, okay? Whatever your expression is, let's say this is the expression. I'm writing the general expression. And we want to find out its middle term. So middle term, middle term, we'll reach to that point in a little while. First, let's find out the middle term for this, power 3. So now there are 4 terms. Can someone tell me what's the middle term here in this case? Yeah, just try. Don't worry about the about your answer is correct or not. You just need to try. What's the middle term in this case? Yeah, Jania, will you tell me what's the middle term in this first case? Maz, I did not understand. You can ask me.
Sir, 3x square y?
Does this term has same difference? Same distance from beginning and from the end?
No.
No, because there are 2 terms after it and 1 term before it. So if I see logically, I'm not able to find the middle term. Am I correct, Maz?
Yes.
Because if we take 3xy square as the middle term, then it will also not follow the property of middle term. 2 terms behind this, 1 term after it. So there is no one particular middle term in this case, because the total number of terms are even. When the total number of terms are odd, we know there must be one middle term which have equal distance from beginning, 2 terms, and from the end, 2 terms. But if we talk about total number of terms are even, then there is no one particular middle term, right? Now, in these cases, we will consider both of them as the middle terms. There will be not a single middle term, there will be two middle terms in these cases. So whenever the number of terms are odd, there will be one middle term. What will it be? We will discuss it. But let's first apply the concepts only. First rely on the concepts. If the total number of terms are odd, there will be one middle term. If the total number of terms are even, there will be two middle terms. Am I correct? Did you guys get this? If you're facing problem, please ask me. Okay, got it. Good. Now, I want to ask you, what should be the value of n so that total number of terms are odd? When will total number of terms will be odd? When n is what? The power should be even number, correct? If the powers are even numbers, the total number of terms will always be odd. Why? Because if the power is even, the total number of terms will be n plus 1. That is odd. So if n is even, yani ke agar aap, if you're trying to find out any even power expansion, you will get exactly one middle term. What will it be? We will discuss it. Just wait a minute. But we will surely get one middle term, right? But if we are finding out the odd power expansion, there will always be two middle terms. So start writing this. You can put out your heading as middle term of any expansion. And also write this. We have already written this, but just write it as many times as you can, because you have to remember this formula. Anji, can I remove this? If somebody hasn't written, please raise your hand. Otherwise, I'm going to remove this. Yeah, sure. Also, somewhere on the page, write this as well. X plus y cube and x plus y whole power 4. Because I'll be using these two illustrations to define the general formula. Somewhere on the page, you can write it anywhere. Okay. So x plus y to the power n, I'm just simply writing it. I don't want to write the whole expression. This is also the same expression. Now, for middle term, if n is even, then total number of terms, sorry, I should write it down as If n is even, it signifies the total number of terms are odd. And if total number of terms are odd, there will be one middle term. And what will it be? Okay, now let's come to this part. X plus y to the whole power 4. In this case, 5 terms. And third term was middle term. Now let's come from this as well. Let's observe this as well. X plus y to the whole power 6. So there are 7 terms. And fourth term was middle term. Right? So how can I find out the middle term? Okay, divide 4 by 2. What do we get? 2. Add 1, 3. This is the middle term. Divide 6 by 2, 3. Add 1, 4. What did we get? The analogy is divide n by 2, add 1 to it. This will be your middle term. You can apply this over any series. So say, for example, if you have been given x plus y to the power 100, then which term is middle term? So you can directly apply this term will be your middle term. So this will be 51st term. Should be your middle term. And that makes complete sense. Why? There will be 101 terms total. So if you talk about 51 terms, there will be 50 terms behind it. There will be 50 terms after it. This is the middle term. So we are doing that only. With n by 2, we are dividing the total number of terms into 2 parts. And this is your middle term. So if n is even, total number of terms will be odd because the terms are n plus 1. And there will always be one middle term. Now let's talk about when n is odd. Second part. When n is odd, the total terms are even. Then in this case, 2 middle terms. If I can find out the first middle term, second middle term will be just after it. So let's try to make out an analogy for this as well. So if the power was 3, total terms were 4, and middle term was second and third. If n was 5, total terms were 6, third and fourth were the middle terms. So what can I do is, see, 3 plus 1 by 2. 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 by 2 is 2. 5 plus 1 is 6, 6 by 2 is 3. So 2 middle terms will be, first will be n plus 1 by 2th term. If n is 3, the first is second term will be middle, and the term next to it, its next term. So for example, if I take n 99, total terms will be 100. If you ask me what's the middle term, I would directly divide it by 2. that is 50th term, and the term next to it, 51st term. These are middle. If you ask me n is 1, 0, sorry, I'll give you, now you solve this for me. N is 121, so we know n is odd. How many total terms will it contain? Chalo, tell me the answers. Yeah, I see orally. Total terms, how many? N is 121.
122.
122. Then the middle terms are? Divide the total number of terms by 2. N plus 1 is total number of terms.
61.
61. Yes. 61st. Yes, 66. Correct. Tarif and mass. Iram, are you okay? You sounded a bit low. You can also reply me in chat.
Yes sir, थोड़ी तबीयत सही नहीं.
Okay. N is 121, so total number of terms are 122. 61st and 62nd are the middle term. Right, so in this way we can find out the middle term. So middle term is very easy. You just need to remember these formulae. Basic, very basic. The main part of this, the important part and the hardest part of this chapter is all the questions related to general terms. We haven't solved even one question on general term for now. But what we'll be doing now, what will we be doing in the whole classes? We'll be solving a lot of questions based on general terms only, and other as well as other concepts, because we have already covered all the concepts now. So let's start with the questions on general term. Middle term though is very basic, you can find out. Okay. So everyone can open their NCERT. Please reach out to page number 168. Example 5th. Has everybody written? I'm about to remove this. If someone hasn't, please raise your hand so that I get to know. Cool. So the example 5 says, find A if 17th and 18th term of 2 plus a to the whole power 50 are equal. Okay. So what do we mean by general term? General term basically represents every term. What was the general term? General term was written as TR plus 1. T of R plus 1. So whatever you put the value of R, the term will always be the next one. So if you put R0, the term will be first. If you put R1, term will be second. And it goes on like this. So TR plus 1 was NCR, first term to the power n minus R. First term is 2. And second term to the power R. This is your general term in this case. It can be written for any expansion. We have already studied what's the formula for general term. How did it form? We have discussed it. Now, coming to the question. We have been given that 17th and 18th terms are equal. This is the information we have. Now, I'll use this information to solve the question. I can surely find out T17 and T18 using this formula. To find out T17, I will have to put R16. So this will become, Hanji, what is n here in this case? What is n? 2 plus a to the whole power 50. What's the value of n?
50.
50. So this should be 50 CR. R is 16 in this case. 2 to the power 50 minus 16 into a to the power r. And if I talk about T18, so what is it? 50 C17, 2 to the power 33, a to the power 17. Now, as these two terms are equal, so we have 50 C16, 2 to the power 34, a to the power 16 is equals to 50 C17, 2 to the power 33, a to the power 17. You can simplify this. 50 C16 divided by 50 C17, 2 to the power 34 divided by 2 to the power 33. A to the power 17 divided by a to the power 16. I have taken this a to the power 16 to the right hand side and taken all the constants from right hand side to left hand side. Now this becomes a. We can apply the formula. We have learned this formula. I'm very sure you guys don't remember that formula, I know. So we have written something along the line, NCR divided by NCR minus 1. This was n minus r plus 1 divided by r. We have studied this in PMC. This is the opposite of it. I have told you this formula as well. I mean, you can check that out. So this should be 17 divided by 50 minus 16 into 2. So this is a is equals to 34 divided by 34, which is 1. And a is 1. This was the calculation part. You can solve that using, I mean, you could have solved it without using this formula as well. Just the formula makes it more simpler, but doesn't mean that you can't solve it without the formula. You could have expanded it 50C16, you know the formula, n factorial divided by r factorial into n minus r factorial. And you could have solved it using that as well. But the important part is to use general term. Okay, let's come to example 7. First, understand this. If you are facing any problem, feel free to ask. So general term, with the help of general term, you can find out any term. We were given that 17 and 18 term are equal. So I have found out T17 and T18 using this formula. So one use of general term is to find out any term using this formula. I mean, this is the basic use. This is the only use. But whatever we have just done, we can also do that in some other way. I mean, this is not asked directly that find out 17th and 18th term. This may be asked in indirect ways. How? I'll show you. It has been shown in example 7 only. So can I remove this, guys? Okay. So in example 7, we have been asked what find the coefficient of, yeah. So this is a very popular question based on the coefficients, right? I told you already that what is binomial coefficient. Can someone tell me? We have studied this in the previous class. I told you there is a term known as binomial coefficient. What is binomial coefficient? Check out your notes. And if someone remembers, please feel free to tell.
Is it NCR?
Yes, NCR. So your NCR is binomial coefficient. But we have not been asked the binomial coefficient. We have been asked the coefficient, right? So there is a very basic difference between coefficient and binomial coefficient. I'll clear that out in the given question. So we have to find out the coefficient of x to the power 6 into y cube in the expansion of x plus 2y to the whole power 9. Whenever, guys, whenever it will be asked a lot. And whenever you have been asked about the coefficient, binomial coefficient terms, you always have to use this formula, general term. So the general term basically tells you anything about a term. So if any question is related to the term, you'll have to use the formula general term. General term we know can be written as, for this expression, can be written as 9CR, because the value of n is 9. 9CR x to the power 9 minus r and 2y to the power r. I can also simplify this as 9CR, take this 2 to the power r outside. This is x to the power 9 minus r and y to the power r. Now let's first understand the difference between coefficient and binomial coefficient. So if I ask you coefficient, the answer will constitute 9CR as well as 2 to the power r. This is coefficient. But if I ask you binomial coefficient, this will just simply be this will just simply be 9CR. In most of the cases, you will always be asked about coefficient, not binomial coefficient. But for 1 mark or 2 marks question, they may ask you sometimes like, what's the binomial coefficient? So for binomial coefficient, only consider the NCR wala part, not anything other. But for coefficient, you will have to use all the constant terms. You will have to take all the constant terms. That's the basic difference between coefficient and binomial coefficient. Okay, now let's find out what do we need. He wants us to find out x to the power 6 into y cube, right? So what do we need to do? We need to find out r such that this becomes x to the power 6 into y cube. So to find coefficient of x to the power 6 y cube, you should put either this n minus r equal to 6, power of x should be same, or power of y should be same. You can go from either way. I think if we put power of y same, we will get the value of r directly. So r is our variable. in binomial theorem. I already told you about this, that in algebra, we will have one variable in every chapter. R was our variable in PNC as well as binomial theorem, and N is your variable in sequence and series. Guys, just give me 1 minute. Yeah, so in most of the cases, whenever we want to find out coefficient or binomial coefficient, in most of the cases, you will be asked coefficient only. So whenever we want to find out coefficient, we just need to find out the R, right? So to find out the coefficient of x to the power 6 into y cube, we should either equate the power of x equal or power of y equal. I would say directly equate power of y equal. Directly equate the powers of y, because in that way you will get R directly. So R is 3. I'll write the whole procedure first. If you equate powers of y, you will get R as 3. Hence, you need to find out the fourth term, T4. When you put R3, you will get T4, and T4 will be NC3 2 cube x to the power 6 y to the power cube. What do we need to find out? We need to find out the coefficient of x to the power 6 into y cube. So the coefficient will be which will be 8 into 9876 84. That should be the answer. 672 is the coefficient of x to the power 6 into y. Please feel free to ask your problems. And if you don't have any, I am extending this question as this is the first part. You need to find out the coefficient for this. X square into y to the power 7. For the same question, find out the coefficient of x square y to the power 7. In fact, I would say find out the coefficient and binomial coefficient as well. Find out the coefficient and binomial coefficient of x square y to the power 7. Both of these terms. You can answer me in chat. If anybody has found out the value of R, please tell me what should be the value of R to find out coefficient and binomial coefficient.
There is R5.
Why 5?
Because when we minus 7 and 2 will get 5. That's, I may be wrong.
No. Just simply compare this now. This is the general term, right?
Yes, sir.
And you have to compare it with this. So either 9 minus r should be equal to 2 or r should be equal to 7. No, Tarif. Equate the power of
Yes,
x or
sir.
equate the power of y. Yeah, so you will get r7. Now when r is 7, what's the term that we are finding out now? The term is 8th, right? T8. If you put r7, the term would be 8th. So you are actually finding out the 8th term. Now try to find out this term and tell me the coefficient. Binomial coefficient as well as coefficient. Anji, what's the answer? Theorem, Fahad, Jania, Tharif, Abdullah, Maz. Someone, please tell me the answer. The same approach. The thing is, you will get R7.
Yes, sir. 1 minute. I'm trying to find the answer.
Yes, please. I'm waiting. Tell me the answer. I'm sorry.
Sir, is binomial coefficient 84?
Yeah, 84. No, 9C2 should be 36. Mas. Binomial coefficient is this, no? 9C7. Coefficient is this whole, and binomial coefficient is 9C7 only. So 9C7 will, I think 9C7 can be equated as 9C2, which can then be solved as 9 into 8 divided by 2. So the value should be 36, I guess.
Okay.
Or I guess I'm sure about it.
Yes, sir, I got 36.
Yes. And then if I find out the coefficient,
4608 coefficient.
4608. Okay. So this should be 36, and this is what, 128, right? So this should be 8 seconds. This art 288, I guess. 828 0 10 460. Yeah, correct. So the coefficient is this, and binomial coefficient is 9C7 only. Answer should be 36. Fahad, am I audible? भाई किधर है गायब? क्या हो गया तेरे को? तब से, जब से यूएई गया, तब से मुझे लग रहा है पढ़ाई वढ़ाई तो छोड़ ही दी है तूने एकदम. पता नहीं अभी तो क्लास भी कर रहा है कि नहीं कर रहा है, मेरे को तो. And what about Abdullah? And Jania as well. Jania, you're also not answering the questions. Are you getting these things or not? If you're not, then please ask me, na? Only then I'll be able to help you. If you won't tell me, so how would I help you? And same goes for Abdullah. You guys can discuss anything. If you're not comfortable in discussing, I mean, if you're not comfortable over saying this, you can write that in chat, whatever your doubts are. But if you won't ask you, I'll not be able to help you because I won't be able to, I mean, observe what the problem is, no? I'll not get what the problem is. If you discuss, so you will be certainly benefited. Okay, can I remove this now? Okay, so yeah, this example 8, this is very important. Example 8 and example 9. One of a kind of question like this will come in the exam. Most probably, there's a high probability, high chances. There are high chances that you will face one question like example 8 or example 9 in the exam. Okay, the second, third, and fourth terms in the binomial expansion. You have been given T2 as 240, T3 as 720, and T4 as 1080. For which expansion? For this expansion. You have to find out X, A, and N. There is a value for X, A, and N. You have been given 3 things to find out 3 variables. So that is very much doable. If you have 3 equations and 3 variables, that can be solved. Now, first of all, to solve this, tell me the general term. How should I write the general term? Please tell me the whole expression. We have written it down like 7 or 8 times. Someone please tell me. How do I write general term for x plus a to the whole power n? Iram, try this. Tell me. X plus a to the whole power n.
So I have to say the general term.
Yes, you have to tell me the general term.
NCR x raised to
No. Before that, what should I write here? T of T.
r plus 1.
Yeah, correct. TR plus 1 should be equal to. Now you tell me the right hand side part.
NCR
Correct.
x raised to n minus r and y raised to r. Y
A
raised
raised
to r.
to the power r. Because we don't have y here, right?
Yeah.
So now I want to find out T2, T3, and T4. To find out T2, what should I put R as? What should be the value of R for T2?
T.
How much? Mas?
3.
Why 3? If you put 3, what will you get here? If you put 3. Mas, if you put 3, so what would you get here? T3 plus 1, which is T4.
Oh,
No?
T4.
Yeah.
1.
1. And for T3, what should you put R as?
2.
2. And for T4, put R as 3. So to find out T1, you have put R1. So the value should be NC1 x to the power n minus 1 a to the power 1. And you know what T2 is. T2 is T4, 240. So this is your first equation. To find out T3, you know what is T3. T3 is 720. Hence, NC2 x to the power n minus 2 a square is equals to 720. This is your second equation. You got 3 variables and you have 3 equations. Simplify them to find out x, n, and a. Now, we have already discussed this. If I want to find out 10C2, so how can I find out 10C2? 10C2 can be solved as expand 10 into 2 times. So 10 into 9 divided by niche wala factorial. So let's say if I want to find out 18C2, yeah, Maz, try this. Try this using the formula, using the shortcut. 18C3, let's say. Yeah. So how should I apply shortcut to it? Expand 18 how many times?
18 into until 3 factorial.
No. If you open 18 factorial, how would you write 18 factorial, Mas? First tell me this.
18 into 17 into 60.
Right? Yeah. Correct. So this factorial will only be expended the number of times which have written inside. So to find out 18C3, you just have to expand 18 factorial 3 times. So let's try this.
18 into 17 into
17.
60.
Yeah. So stop at 60 because you have already expanded it thrice. Divided by जो भी नीचे लिखा हुआ है उसका factorial, 3 factorial. Similarly, in the same way, can you solve this for me, Mas? NC3.
N into n minus 1 into n minus 2. Right.
Correct. बस इतना ही?
By 3 factorial.
By 3 factorial, correct. So why did I tell you this? Because you will need this in expanding NC3 and NC2 and NC1. You got 3 equations, try to solve them. First, write this down. You have 2 minutes to solve this. Everybody has written this? Okay. So my first equation is NC1. NC1 is just simple n. This is my first equation. NC2 is n into n minus 1 divided by 2 factorial, which is 2 only. And NC3, 3 factorial, which is 6. I will say divide some things with some other, divide these equations. I mean, you can divide 2 by 1, or you can divide 3 by 2, or you can divide 3 by 1. Just do these transformations and solve for x, a, and n. Try to solve it. If you are not, then I'll be solving it. Anji. Okay, I'm dividing 2 by 1. What will I get? This is the expression. So this is my fourth equation. Then I'm dividing 3 by 2. I'll be getting, I'm writing directly. Acha. This. So I should write actually fourth part as a by x is equals to 6 by n minus 1. This is your fourth equation, not this. From this I can write this. This should be fourth part. And for the fifth part, fifth equation, find out a by x from this side as well. Now from fourth and fifth, you can directly compare the right hand side part. And in that way, you will be able to find out n. So n would be 5. Now find out, you can find out a and x as well. I'm not interested in this calculation. I was just interested in the conceptual part. You'll be able to find out, just work it out. Now you find out a n, you can find out a and x as well. Divide 3 by 1, you'll be able to find out a and x both. Cool it up, whatever the value of a and x are. Similarly, there is this example, next example, which is, I guess, example 9, in which you have been provided the ratio of 3 consecutive terms. You have to find n. So instead of this, we will find out this 10th exercise 8.2, question number 10. So start solving question number 10 in exercise 8.2. After this, solve that. I guess these are the correct values. A is not 240, you know. A is 3 and x is 2, I guess. You must have done something wrong. But it's okay. You'll be able to find that out. Can I remove this? Okay. So the 8th question is, if someone does not have NCERT right now. 8, no, 10th. So 10th term, you have this ratio of R minus 1th term, then Rth term, then R plus 1th term. Acha, okay, Mas. Are you sure? I am not sure. I don't think it should be deleted, but
Yes, sir.
I mean, this is already, Mas, this is also general term concept only.
General term is also deleted.
Acha, okay. Okay. In that case, yeah. No worries. So you have been given this ratio. Okay, no. Sorry, my bad. The question is something like this. The coefficients of R minus 1th term. Just a minute. R minus 1th term, Rth term, and R plus 1th term in the expansion of x plus 1 to the power n are in the ratio 1:3:5. Find n and r. You have been provided with an information that coefficient of these 3 terms are in the ratio 1:3:5. And what's the expansion? Expansion is this. So if you want to find out R plus 1th term, R plus 1th term would be NCR x to the power R. If you want to find out Rth term, then this should be NCR minus 1 x to the power R minus 1. Because to get Rth term, you need to put one value, one R should be 1 lesser than whatever this coefficient is, should be 1 lesser than the term. And if you want to find out R minus 2th term, R minus 1 first term, R minus 1th term, then this should be NCR minus 2 x to the power R minus 2. So basically, in the question, you have this information. Which you can put out like this, that the ratio of NCR minus 2 divided by NCR minus 1 is 1:3. The ratio of NCR minus 1 with NCR is 3:5, and NCR minus 2 divided by NCR is 1:5. You have these 3 key values provided. Solve them, find out n and r. You don't need all 3 equations. You can take any 2 and you'll be able to solve for n and r, because there are 2 variables, so you only need 2 equations. You can find out n and r using this, right? So solve it. I mean, take this as a homework and solve it, right? Now, one more important concept is the independent term. It's not a concept. Whenever you have been asked independent term, just a minute, Mas. I'm checking that out.
Okay, sir.
Okay. In that case, yeah, you can leave this. So try to find out n and r in this case. Now can I remove this part? Okay. So this is the last question of today's class as well as binomial theorem. Please come with your doubts in the next class. Solve all of these questions. You'll be facing a lot of problems because there may be you will face a lot of varieties in these questions. So you will definitely face problems. Solve the questions and come with your doubts. Now the last question is, the question can be in any form. You may be asked constant term. You may be asked independent term, or you may be asked term independent of x. All of these are the same thing. So if you have been asked to find out any of this in any expansion, let's say the expansion is this, your miscellaneous example first, 3 by 2 x square minus 1 by 3x to the whole power 6. So first, write the general term. General term would be 6cr, right? 3 by 2 x square to the whole power 6 minus r into minus 1 by 3x to the whole power r. For independent or constant term, the meaning of this term, the meaning of these three terms are same, and they mean they don't want x in the expression. So for constant term, the power of variable should be equal to 0. Put the power of variable equal to 0. Now, how do you find out the power of variable? Check this out. So TR plus 1, you already have TR plus 1, it's your general term. Just combine all the powers of x and take constant out. So TR plus 1, this is the important concept which you need to follow for these type of questions. So TR plus 1 would be 6CR, 3 to the power 6 minus R, divided by 2 to the power 6 minus R, into, you can take minus 1 to the power R common. Similarly, you can take 3 to the power R outside, and x to the power will become 2 into 6 minus R into 1 by x to the power R. So what did I do? I have basically applied laws of exponent over all the terms. So this will become this. Now this can be combined. 6CR, combine the powers of 3. This r will go in the numerator and will become minus r. So 3 to the power 6 minus 2r into minus 1 to the power r divided by 2 to the power 6 minus r into this power of x will become 12 minus 2r, and this will become x to the power minus r, which will get with this. So this will become x to the power 12 minus 3r. This is your basically general term for the above expression. To find out constant term, so what do we mean by constant term? That we should not contain any variable in that term. The variable is x. How will that x will not be present? If the power of x is 0, it means that the variable is not there, right? Because anything to the power 0 is 1. So to find out constant term, always put the power of variable equals to 0. Now, what is the power of variable? 12 minus 3r. Put this equal to 0. From this, you will get your r. When you get your r, you can find out which term is constant. I mean, which term is independent of x in this expansion, and what is that term. So put r is equals to 4 in your general term. Hence, constant term is fifth, not fourth, because when you put R4, you will get T5. Oh, and what's the value of that constant term? The value will be T5 is equals to 6C4, 3 to the power 6 minus 2 into 4, 8 minus 2, minus 1 to the power 4 divided by 2 to the power 2, 6 minus r, into x to the power 0, which will be 1. So T5 is 64 is equals to 15 into minus 1 to the power 4 is 1, and this will become 2 square 4 into 3 square 9. So the answer would be T5, which is 5 by 12 in this case. So these are some examples over binomial theorem. Now guys, solve these questions and I'll be taking your doubts in the next class. We'll meet on next Saturday. Okay, class is over for now.